You may have seen my video in which I played the Oscar swap game. That consisted of swapping out an Oscar winner with a competing performance in the same year. For this time, the game is a little different. I'm going to swap out an actor's Oscar-nominated performance for one that he or she didn't receive a nomination, but I think should have. Warning, some of my suggestions may be pretty obscure. I'm Michael, aka Oscar Man, and I'll begin with an actor who was popular with audiences but didn't always receive the recognition he deserved from his peers.
What happened? What the hell happened?
Steve McQueen's one career nomination came for 1966's The Sandpebbles, in which he played the rebellious Jake Holman. But I think this was his best performance.
I must be light. I must be lightheaded or something because I'm trying. I can't remember. Honest to God, I can't remember. It's not there, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh, no, it's not there. No.
Papillon was based on the 1969 autobiography of real-life prisoner Henri Charrier. Papillon is French for butterfly and references both the tattoo on the protagonist's chest as well as his attempts to become free. Steve McQueen was cast in the leading role after several script changes, which originally had both Warren Beatty and Charles Bronson set for the part. McQueen insisted on top billing over co-star Dustin Hoffman, as well as performing the film's difficult stunt of jumping off a cliff. Papillon received mixed reviews upon its release, but was popular with audiences. It's a tough film to watch, with its depiction of brutality amid grim surroundings, at times too realistic for some. And while Papillon wasn't considered as good a film as The Sandpebbles, I think it was the one I would have chosen for Steve McQueen's only Oscar-nominated performance. At this point in his career, Steve McQueen was the highest-paid actor in the world, and though he was dubbed the King of Cool, he was known to be a difficult person both on and off screen. There is a laundry list of roles he turned down, including The French Connection, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Steve McQueen died of cancer in 1980 at the age of 50.
Well, darling, we're certainly not going to go back home now.
Well, I guess we aren't, but what's all this uptown talk about? What do you think we're going to do? Spend a check for a month's rent on a penthouse and then sit around on a bare floor and starve?
Exactly.
Who asked you? Eileen, we've got to be sensible, dear.
By all means.
Did you say the blasting is really over?
In black and white.
A popular and respected actress throughout her 30-plus year career in films, Rosalind Russell's first of her 4 Best Actress nominations was for the light comedy 1942's My Sister Eileen. But I would swap out that nomination for a performance she gave that would have easily won her an Oscar if she had just played the game.
It's no good living like this in rented rooms. Eating a bunch of old maids for supper every night. And coming back home. Alone. Each year I keep telling myself it's the last. Something will happen. Nothing ever does. Except I get a little crazier all the time.
In 1955's Picnic, Russell took the role of spinster schoolteacher Rosemary, originated on Broadway by future Oscar winner Eileen Heckert, who I could totally see in the part. Rosalind Russell received co-star billing, even though this was definitely a supporting role, albeit a strong one. She had several Oscar scenes, one in particular where she demonstrated her range of both comedic and dramatic skills. When it came time for awards talk, the film's studio, Columbia Pictures, was gearing up a campaign to nominate Russell as that year's Best Supporting Actress, as it was widely assumed she was already poised to win for her memorable performance. However, once she got wind of this, Rosalind Russell immediately put the kibosh on any thoughts of her receiving a nomination, telling studio head Harry Caan, quote, "I've been a star for a good many years, and I don't intend to change to a supporting actress now, simply in hopes of winning an Oscar," unquote. That left the door open for Jo Van Fleet to win instead for East of Eden, one of my all-time favorite performances. Russell's last chance at an Oscar came in 1958 for her outstanding turn as Auntie Mame, perhaps her finest screen performance. Winner of 5 Golden Globes and a Tony Award, as well as the recipient of the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award in 1973, the prolific actress died of cancer in 1976 at the age of 69.
Well, see, I'd sent for a book. It was a $1.98 and a plain wrapper.
A plain wrapper?
Yeah, a plain wrapper. And, well, it was about marriage and sex. I had it sent to me at the post office, general delivery. It took me about 2 weeks to get up the courage to go pick it up.
Peyton Place was a hugely successful film in 1957, scoring nominations for 5 members of its cast, including Russ Tamblyn for Best Supporting Actor. But I would have easily swapped out his one career nomination and replaced it with his performance in my favorite film.
Time. Tomorrow? After dark. Place.
The park?
The river.
Under the highway.
Weapons.
Although George Chakiris won for the showier role of Bernardo in 1961's West Side Story, Russ Tamblyn was equally excellent as Riff, the leader of the rival gang, the Jets. Tamblyn was an accomplished singer and dancer, appearing in such films as 7 Brides for 7 Brothers and Hit the Deck. But he is most likely remembered today for West Side Story. Interestingly, George Chakiris played the role of Riff in the London production of the musical before being cast as Bernardo in the film version. And Russ Tamblyn, who was initially considered for the lead role of Tony, impressed co-director Robert Wise, who cast him as Riff instead. I'm not sure why Russ Tamblyn wasn't pushed for a Best Supporting Actor nomination along with Chakiris, especially as they shared many of their scenes together. Although his film career peaked with the iconic musical, Tamblyn continued working in film and television for decades and released his autobiography at the age of 90.
I could be pea green with jealousy and not hacked up any more than I am already. It's you we want to worry about. You know, this is no Sir Galahad who loves from afar. This is a 2-legged boa constrictor.
Known more for her beauty than acting talent, Ava Gardner received her 1 Oscar nomination as Best Actress in 1953's Mogambo. But I think she gave a better performance the following decade in an adaptation of a Tennessee Williams play.
I loved old Fred. Wouldn't anybody guess the way I carried on, except Fred, he knew. You see, he was 28 years older than me, and we hadn't slept together in I don't know when. Fred used to say he guessed he was impotent. But if you ask me, honey, he just plain lost interest.
What other interest did he have, Mrs. Falk?
Only fishing.
In 1964's The Night of the Iguana, Gardner starred as Maxine, the earthy hotel proprietor, a role originated on Broadway by 2-time Oscar winner Bette Davis. The film boasted an impressive cast that included Richard Burton and Deborah Kerr, though it was yet another casualty as a truncated version of a Tennessee Williams play. Ava Gardner imbued Maxine with sensuality and bawdiness, and ended up stealing the film from her co-stars. She earned nominations at the Golden Globes and BAFTAs, and I think she deserved an Oscar nomination as well. The popular actress appeared in a dozen more films and some television appearances before she died in 1990 at the age of 67.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? They want to get mixed up in the family business? Huh? Now you want to gun down a police captain, why? Because he slapped you in the face a little bit? Huh? What do you think, this is the army where you shoot him a mile away? You got to get up close like this, and bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit. Come here. Mwah!
James Caan was an actor with more ability than he was credited for. His one Oscar nomination was as Sonny Corleone in 1972's The Godfather. But the following year, he gave what I thought was a performance that should not have been overlooked.
Once I get there, everything will be fine, and I hope that everything will be fine with you all, too. Boy, I'm going... The boy I'm going with said, I shouldn't bother with this note, but I told him, well, I certainly am going to bother.
In 1973's Cinderella Liberty, Marsha Mason received a Golden Globe and an Oscar nomination as Best Actress for her role as Maggie. But for my money, it was James Caan who gave the film's best performance as Navy sailor John Baggs. It was in this film that Caan was able to show his sensitive side, as a man who tries to make a home for a prostitute and her son, only to be left in a difficult position not of his making. Though James Caan became an A-list actor after his appearance in The Godfather, appearing in dozens of films over the next 50 years, including Misery, he turned down roles in such films as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Kramer vs. Kramer, and MASH, and said that even though he regretted many of the films he did choose to appear in, one of the very few he was happy with was Cinderella Liberty. James Caan died in 2022 at the age of 82.
We came to tell you something. There's been an accident. Jimmy's okay. He's all right. But he's not going to get to walk on the moon.
Well, they said he was.
I know. That was before. Now there's been an explosion.
Kathleen Quinlan's one Oscar nomination was for the wrong performance. In 1995's Apollo 13, she really didn't have much to do in her role as wife of astronaut Jim Lovell. In an earlier film that isn't remembered much today, she gave an Oscar-worthy performance.
Do you think you'll tell me today why you did it?
I had to.
Uh-huh.
I'm poisonous.
In what way, poisonous?
Things I touch are poisoned. People I get near. Like my sister. I tried to kill her when she was a baby.
1977's I Never Promised You a Rose Garden was based on a novel that explored a teenage girl's life spent in a mental institution after she is diagnosed with schizophrenia. The film encountered difficulties getting made because of its subject matter, and it only managed to secure funding after the success of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The actresses considered for the lead role included Natalie Wood, Mia Farrow, and Liza Minnelli. At one point, Charlotte Rampling was announced to star in the role of Deborah. Then, producer Roger Corman stated that his choice was Jodie Foster. By this time, Kathleen Quinlan had appeared in films such as American Graffiti and Airport 77, and she auditioned twice for Rose Garden. When she was asked to audition for a third time, she declined, stating she already did the best she could. She ended up getting the part and a Golden Globe nomination. Unfortunately, 1977 was a strong year in the lead actress category, and Quinlan missed making the top 5 that year. It likely didn't help that I Never Promised You a Rose Garden received very mixed reviews. many of them criticizing the film but praising Quinlan's performance. Kathleen Quinlan has continued working regularly in films and television since Rose Garden, but with the exception of Apollo 13, none have given her the opportunity to display the talent she demonstrated early in her career. However, one never knows what role she could be cast in that could bring her a second Oscar nomination.
Reb Tevye, I hear you are arranging a match for Seidel.
He also has ears.
Well, I have a match for Seidel.
What kind of a match?
A perfect fit. Like a glove. This match was made exactly to measure.
As modeled the tailor in 1972's Fiddler on the Roof, Leonard Frey earned his one and only Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. It was a great part, but Frey gave a blistering performance in a controversial film a few years prior.
You were supposed to arrive at this location at approximately 8:30-9 o'clock.
What I am, Michael, is a 32-year-old, ugly, pockmarked Jew fairy. And if it takes me a while to pull myself together, and if I smoke a little grass before I get up the nerve to show my face to the world, it's nobody's goddamn business but my own. And how are you this evening?
The Boys in the Band was a groundbreaking play that was adapted into a 1970 film of the same name. Released at the beginning of a new era in films, which dared to cover subjects previously considered taboo, The Boys in the Band featured an ensemble cast in the story of a group of gay men who attend a birthday party and express their feelings about one another in a claustrophobic setting that only adds to the mounting tension. As Harold, for whom the party is arranged, Leonard Frey repeated the role he created on stage and received the film's best reviews for his performance as a bitter, blunt man resigned to what he believes his life is destined to become. The Boys in the Band was politely received by critics at the time, cautiously tolerant of the film's subject matter, though finding the cast uniformly strong. William Friedkin, who later directed The French Connection and The Exorcist, was chosen to direct The Boys in the Band because he was considered more experienced than the play's director, Robert Moore, even though this was only Friedkin's fourth film. As for Leonard Frey, I can understand why he was overlooked, as the Academy likely wasn't ready to bestow nominations on a film like The Boys in the Band. Frey only made 4 more films after Fiddler on the Roof, though he worked in television for several years. Leonard Frey died of AIDS in 1988 at the age of 49.
What's he gonna do? Wanted a year off with those bums, so I give him a year.
Hasn't been a year yet.
But Evelyn, look what's happened to him. He's turned into an eye tie. Ciao, Papa. Ciao, Mama. Arrivederci. That's ID talk. I used to think it was funny at first. It's not funny anymore.
He was very sickly until he started riding around on that bike.
Breaking Away was a popular 1979 film that gave Barbara Barrie her one career nomination. She was serviceable as the mother, but this Mrs. Cleaver role hardly stretched this reliable actress's talent. It's a shame that one of her best performances was in a little seen but powerful film.
My baby.
Julie.
I want my
Julie.
baby. I want it.
How many of you have seen, let alone heard of, One Potato, Two Potato? It didn't burn up movie screens in 1964 due to its limited distribution. Barbara Barrie starred as Julie, a divorced woman newly married to an African-American man. Julie faces a custody battle for her daughter when her ex-husband believes the child is in danger because she lives in an interracial household. Controversial at the time, One Potato, Two Potato pulled no punches in its depiction of prejudice and racial inequality, and I will warn you right now that the movie's ending is anything but a happy one. This small, independent film should have been recognized by the Academy. Barbara Barrie won the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Actress, and she absolutely deserved an Oscar nomination for her quiet, subtle work as a woman whose choice brings her both happiness and heartache. Barbara Barrie's acting career spans over 70 years and includes appearances in both films and a variety of episodic television work.
Personally, I don't think you're the type for the work, but against my better judgment, I'll give you a trial. Now, you'll need white shoes. Ask for nurse's regulation in any of the stores, $2.95. We furnish your uniform, but it comes off your first check, $3.95. You get it at cost and keep it laundered. If you don't suit us, we charge you 25 cents on the uniform. That comes off your check, too. Keep your own tips. Here, have your tea.
Oscar nominated for her role as the wisecracking Ida in the 1945 classic Mildred Pierce, Eve Arden gave a performance in a film that covered some daring topics for its time.
Cora, I'm going to tell you something I never told anyone in my whole life. I never did enjoy it the way most women say they do. Not you. Why do you say me like that? Just because I talk a lot? That's all I can do is talk. I talk just to convince myself I'm alive. And I'm filled with all kinds of crazy curiosity about all the things I seem to have missed out on in life.
Playwright William Inge's The Dark at the Top of the Stairs was made into a 1960 film starring Robert Preston, Dorothy McGuire, and Oscar-nominated Shirley Knight, in a tale of a small-town family dealing with sexual tensions in the 1920s. As Lottie, Eve Arden confesses her marital frustrations to her younger sister, played by McGuire. While I thought Shirley Knight was wonderful and deserved her Oscar nomination, I also think Arden should have received one as well. In a Film Daily poll of over 1,800 critics, Eve Arden's performance was rated among the 5 best given by a supporting actress that year. Eve Arden had a long, successful career in various film, television, and stage productions, and the Emmy-winning actress has 2 stars on the Walk of Fame. Eve Arden died in 1990 at the age of 82.
The finish of his handiwork will mark the beginning of his doom.
Yes! Neatly said. The finish of his shall begin at the doom. Yes, very good, Ottaviano.
Yes, my lord.
Yes.
Remember, Alessandro, you have made your decision.
Yes.
I could easily swap out Frank Morgan's first Oscar nomination as Best Actor for 1934's The Affairs of Cellini for another performance that you are probably familiar with.
Back where I come from, there are men who do nothing all day but good deeds. They are called good deed doers, and their hearts are no bigger than yours. But they have one thing you haven't got, a testimonial.
Come on, let's face it. The entire cast of The Wizard of Oz was snubbed by the Academy. Yes, Judy Garland received an honorary juvenile Oscar, but what about Margaret Hamilton? And Frank Morgan, who portrayed not only the wizard, but Professor Marvel, the gatekeeper, the carriage driver, and the palace guard. Morgan got the part after the studio grew tired of haggling over salary with its first choice, W.C. Fields. Frank Morgan began his film career during the silent era, appearing in dozens of films before the 1939 classic. He continued working afterwards, earning a second nomination for 1942's Tortilla Flat. Honored with 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for film and the second for his work in radio, Frank Morgan died in 1949 at the age of 59. Before I conclude with one more Oscar swap, I want to thank you for joining me on my never-ending quest to figure out what this guy has been up to for nearly 100 years. Please do me a favor and click the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, join our amazing community of Oscar nerds for a new video each week, along with the daily polls where your Academy card is always valid. Be sure and also click on that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when all of my Oscar stuff is posted.
And he wants to come up here next week with the publicity people? Francis, you can't do that. You can't do that to your fans. I mean, they stuck through this whole nightmare with you. You can't turn your back on them.
Kim Stanley only made 5 films and received 2 Oscar nominations, one as Best Supporting Actress in 1982's Frances. And while she was excellent as always, I would definitely swap this nomination for her performance in her first movie role.
I can't stand to be alone. I mean, sometimes I bring men home that I don't rightly know for more than half an hour because I can't stand to be alone. Oh, see, in the middle of the night sometimes I wake up and I'm in a sweat. And my heart's pounding. I can't get my breath.
The Goddess was a thinly disguised story of Marilyn Monroe, written by Paddy Chayefsky, who was Oscar nominated for his screenplay. The 1958 film was largely ignored by the public, and I don't know if it was because Columbia Pictures didn't properly promote it, or because Kim Stanley was not known to movie-going audiences. The film itself generated mixed reviews, with the majority of its praise going towards Stanley's performance and Chayefsky's screenplay. The one criticism aimed at Kim Stanley has been that she was not the physical prototype for the role, that of a sex goddess desired by men. And while Stanley was never known for those attributes, her immense talent made me fully believe her character's allure. I have watched The Goddess numerous times, and its themes of loneliness and broken dreams have always haunted me. I'll tell you straight up, Kim Stanley's performance is outstanding, but the film is painful to watch. I know not everyone likes these types of films, but if you appreciate great acting, then I recommend you check this one out. Known more for her work on Broadway, where she starred in Picnic, Bus Stop, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Kim Stanley won 2 Emmys and was a 2-time Tony nominee. The highly respected actress died of cancer in 2001 at the age of 76. I want to leave you with one more clip of Ava Arden sharing some thoughts you wouldn't have expected from our Miss Brooks. Afterwards, don't forget to share your suggestions on nominated performances you would have swapped out for another that the Academy overlooked.
That first night Morris and I were together, right after we were married, I lay there wondering what in the world all the cautioning had been about. I thought Mama and Papa must have been making things up.
You should have told me before this.
I wish someone loved me enough to hit me.